Hello, everyone, and welcome to the AVGL Collegiate Champions League. My name is JJ, and joined alongside me is, of course, the ever special Caribou. How are we doing today, Caribou?
Doing pretty good, can't complain. Ready for another week. This is the last chance, last opportunity for all these players to get into the grand finals next week. So I'm hoping for a little extra spice added to the competition.
No doubt, you said it already. Week 5 and the final qualifier week. So hoping to see some big stuff out of our guys here today. One to note, Northwood boys, obviously we've talked about them for multiple weeks. We've seen them do great things. I unfortunately wasn't able to see or make it last week, but I heard things were, kept as usual, business as usual, if you will. But I am excited to see what the results here are going to be for this final week.
Yeah, the same players, we see them step up time and time again, just taking care of business, the same old, same old. It's the same start to the games. Players go wherever they want, they get their loadouts, and then they just start to rotate around the map, try to find as many kills as they can. And it's probably going to be the same thing we see here tonight, just a matter of who's going to be the ones to step up here.
No doubt. Now, of course, we've got to take a moment to thank our sponsor, as always, as we have from week to week. We couldn't be doing it without them. Esport certified. These guys are going to be your gaming gear destination for exclusively college and university students. I mean, you're going to have all of your premier top esports brands, everything from Razer, SteelSeries, HyperX, and more are going to be found at an epic savings. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to esportcertified.com and check it out.
Yeah, huge shout out to them to be able to help put this on, because for the time being, we're only playing to get to those finals next week. But going into the format of this, we've had, as you said, a few weeks of qualification, and all of those points accumulating to qualify into next week's event, where there is a little bit of pocket change on the line here. And of course, the point structure breaking down, you get 25 points of the win. Each kill is worth 2. And you see these players have a lot of emphasis on the fact of getting really solid, consistent placement. You want to make it to that end game, because the drop off outside of the top 5 is really hard to overcome.
Yeah, no, we've seen this to be true. And like you already mentioned, the points have been rolling over from week to week. And it's, it's now accumulated to where now you're not, if you're really trying to climb the ladder, so to speak, and climb the rankings here, you're going to have to really put in a lot of work this week, and show out, put in kind of the hard frags, and really try to W key as much as possible. I really don't want to see any slow, methodical play this week. I want to see nothing but chaos and mayhem, Caribou. I want to see the W key.
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, these guys are all skillful enough. They know what they're doing. I think by now the nerves should be eradicated. I think that these guys should be feeling comfortable, confident with the new meta, because obviously we had the season shift within, obviously our Champions League. So it's exciting to see that these guys have been doing pretty good and consistent from week to week. But I'm really looking forward to some, big plays this week and heading into our final, because once we get into our final, that's it. The points reset, the balances, or the scales rather, are balanced, right? And now these guys really have to start from square one again and prove in the final that they're the best college here.
Exactly, and only the best deserve the best and get the best. And with 1,200 games or $1,200 on the line, you want to be able to min-max your games to the best that you can. Just $3,000 prize pool, you want the most of that one. So, see where we're going to go from this last qualifier. But, I mean, we talked about, we want those W keys. Drop in, get your locations, get your loadouts, and go.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I think we have the match just about ready for you. So we will be dropping into Verdansk momentarily. And, I'm excited too, because as we've already seen, a lot of the meta has already sort of shifted, but not too much, right? Obviously, from week to week, we've seen little minor changes, but now that AUG really kind of being solidified as the gun that everyone wants to use. And obviously we start to talk about the attachment game, and everybody has their preferences there, but I feel like the AUG's superiority over a lot of the other weapons right now in Warzone has really shined true, honestly, from what I've seen. And if you're not running the AUG, then you're probably losing.
Right. And, you know, there's a caveat to it. And this was a conversation that I had last week with Tugboat about, you know, I would like to see some, you know, kind of commemoration of Battlefield where you get a little bit of everything, right? So you get the person that has the AUG and the FFAR. You get the person that's running the Car 98. You got a person that's running an LMG, and then you got your frontliner running with an SMG. Like, you got a little bit of everything, kind of mix and match, and get yourself into a position where you can kind of diversify a little bit, because we see a lot of these AUGs running around, and most people holding on to that. There's at least one AR on your loadout. Regardless of what loadout you're running, you have an AR. A lot of people now are really especially starting to go with that secondary FFAR on top of the AUG, because they get that very quick burst fire to just shred the armor. And well, if they need to cover a rotation or something, they just switch over to the FFAR and just unload the entire clip and then make their move. And it's like, I don't like double dipping into ARs personally, because it's just, you're using a lot of ammo. But man, they make it look easy. They're making it look good. And I'm not happy about it, because that means I'm wrong.
No, I get you 100%. And I think that what's interesting about the double dip is that these guys are doubling down on the W key is essentially what it's doing, right? You're not trying to play necessarily a far range matchups. You're not trying to, you know, opt for that Car 98. I appreciate what you said about the squad diversity, but sometimes if you just don't have anyone in the squad that wants to run the car, feels really comfortable pulling out the sniper, then it's probably best to just give him an AUG. I mean, why not at this rate, right? And if he wants the FFAR, fine. If he wants to run shotguns or maybe an SMG, that's fine too. But I think that what the main goal here has to be is that you're prepared for that short to mid-range combat at all times. And that to me is what should be doubled down on and prioritized. And I think that these guys are smart enough to realize that they're going to need to double down on that short to mid-range, and they're not going to get away with any slow play, any time to set up your shots. Like, why risk it, right? Why not just go for, in my opinion, the safer play, which is just to get in their face? Because oftentimes when you do it that way anyways, they're going to cower, or they're going to be surprised, or they're not going to be ready. It's always better to be the one attacking than the one defending, in my opinion.
And I share that sentiment in the sense of, you know, because of the fact that MAC-10 is just so prevalent now, everyone that is running an SMG, more than likely a MAC-10. Maybe you'll see an MP5 here or there. Maybe people are holding on to an LC-10. They're trying to figure out the right itemization for that, because that's still a thing that I think a lot of players are, you know, it's a gun they want to like, because it does feel like it has a really fast rate of fire and a very quick time to kill. But we're not yet quite finding the exact niche of the attachments to be able to make that gun the superior gun. It's like a 7 or an 8 out of 10, whereas the MAC-10 is like the 10 out of 10 right now. So obviously you're still going to lose in some of those firefights up close and personal, but you have the ability, if you are double dipping the AUG and the FFAR, you're using that FFAR as your up close and personal. I'd love to see more 74Us, because I think you get the range off of that. And yes, it just got nerfed in multiplayer, but you still have that range in Warzone. And so I think that is another one of those alternatives that you could just swap out with the FFAR, but still do a lot of damage and pack a punch when you're up close and personal.
No doubt. Now, I want to take a moment to talk about the squads here that we have in the building, and think about who is going to kind of maintain the first place spot here going into the final, or will there be a shift? I mean, I'm not sure if there was any shifts last week, but is Northwood still at the #1 spot? Do you happen to have the leaderboard in front of you there, Caribou? Because I certainly don't.
What I'm looking at, it looks like West Virginia's in that top spot, but it's still like the same teams. And I don't know, maybe I might be even looking at the wrong one. I don't even know. But it looks like the same teams are at the top 5. Like, it's still the same kind of recurring people. So the players that are making their names into the late game and getting a lot of those placement points and getting a decent amount of kills as well are still having repeated success.
And that's what's most important. I think that you know, if I could bold anything of what you just said, that repeated success and that consistency is really what has to shine through here in week 5. I think that the team that will triumph and end up getting out ahead and really securing that top spot for the finals is going to be the team that continues to not only remain consistent, but now recognizes that they have to succeed more than the team next to them, and they have to get the victories even more so than the team next to them, and they have to double down. Like I've already said, I sound like a broken record now, on this aggressive style, though, on the idea that you're not just W keying brainlessly. That's not what I mean either when I say W key. I can't stress that enough.
Right.
But of course, being able to communicate with your team and recognize what needs to be done aggressively to secure the victory. Don't let the game or the victory come to you. Get after it. You go get that victory. You go get the dub.
Absolutely looking for the proactive plays from start to finish, and already starting out on the train. Gonna be a lot here. Lots of those gold boxes, a lot of money, a handful of satchels to go around. More than enough to share the load. I mean 3 gold boxes in the first 3 cars, and well, you got to load out to yourself now if you really want to.
Oh yeah, this is a nice train, no doubt. And of course, already we can see. Just gonna quickly get into these buildings and see what we've got nearby. Ooh, it's got a gas mask already. That's even better. Now, you know, what I think too is great about having a gas mask, especially early on, is that you can really just oh, for some reason I looked like that was contact. I apologize. I couldn't see the name yet. But I really like early masks, because then now you don't have any pressure with the first first set of gas. You should play so aggressive and just hunt down people hanging out a little too long in areas and really just chase after people.
Yeah, and being able to have that, you know, you start to at least widen out. Granted, when the time comes, if you do go into a position where you're starting to play around the edge of zone and trying to make a gas play, you have the option. And that's another one of those things I think is interesting we haven't seen anything of, is the sturdy gas masks coming up, because double the durability of a regular gas mask, you get a little extra time to maneuver in and around and try to flank your opponents, but haven't seen really any of that play coming through on any of these teams. But still getting the free resources out of the boxes, the free self-revives, the free gas masks, what have you, is certainly very helpful in your rotations, in your gameplay, because you just have that another safety barrier. Like we talked about the safety barrier of the gulag that you have. You get another one when you have a self-revive.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And I think that especially to your point, them not really going for those kinds of strategies from week to week, it doesn't mean that they're not capable, right? Like, I mean, we don't really know what's in the minds of these guys. They could be saving all their best strats for the final. Like, I don't know. You know, these guys really could be have anything up their sleeve, right? But I really want to see more of that aggressive play as a whole. Right now, though, Chopper in the sky looking very dangerous here for that pilot, as he's dropping out, rightfully so. Actually doesn't pull out the parachute until he's so close to the ground, practically dangerous, and potentially could have killed himself, but you know, obviously had to do it that way, or else he would have been sniped right out of the sky.
Yeah, just a good heads-up play, and I like this, you know, seeing the teams that already have their loadies and being able to just light up the helicopter. I mean, you're able to see, based off of just looking at the chopper, if anybody else is on the team is sitting in there. So understanding that, hey, this guy's probably by himself, just light it up, take it down, see where we go from here. But I mean, you're going to see this all night long, this AUG coming through. I'm kind of actually surprised to see the AX50. That's kind of more of a niche weapon. I mean, the snipers that use it certainly know how to use it.
Yeah, I was about to say, they know how to use that thing. That thing will literally one-shot you, full armor, no problem. Like, it's ridiculous.
All reliable, and I'm happy to see some of that, because the only marksman rifles we've seen anything are just that in the marksman rifles of the Kar 98, and haven't seen a whole lot of the AX50s coming through. Haven't really seen a lot of the AMAX either, and you know, that's another one of those weapons that's just perpetually in the meta. I mean, has a little more kick, a little more punch to it, but is certainly one that has a very good amount of damage over a long range.
Caribou, look at this zone. Look at how beautiful this zone looks. I mean, avoiding that bottom right-hand corner of the map, right, that no one likes, and really just, you know, keeping things kind of open for now, and pretty able to go anywhere. Really, it really could end up closing in anywhere. So this is exciting. I'm pretty excited for our first game of the day here and what might be in store for us. But again, you know, obviously we have to recognize that smaller lobbies means that there's not going to be so many skirmishes right away. But they've got to, you know, I don't like the roof camping, right? Like, I don't like, you know, like, I don't mind it temporarily to scout out and get info, but then move on. You know, like, you just gotta find these battles, and you gotta take the battles into your hands, I feel like.
Yeah, this is an interesting strategy. I mean, granted, you have, and I feel like this is a bait, honestly. That's all that's happening here, because they have the most wanted contract. So anyone else in the lobby probably just thinks it is the one guy that is on top of this building. And lo and behold, oh, there's a whole squad here. Surprise. What do you know? This is a strategy of a contract that I like more. Figure out where those next zones are going to go, get that early knowledge and understanding of what rotations you're going to have to make, get some cash along the way, and boom, now you already know. Next zone is going to be around storage and boneyard. So you're just already that far ahead. They already marked another recon. They are going to take this thing so that they can be in position for the late game and try to make sure they get as many points out of placement as they can.
You know, Caribou, I'm here in my garage, and you know what? I've got this bookshelf in this Lamborghini. No, I'm not gonna do the whole bit, but you just had me when you said knowledge. Like, that is so perfect. But yes, I agree. Obviously, this is a game of information, and being able to have information on your opponents, and being able to also calculate and communicate in a way that takes advantage of that information is pivotal to winning a lot of these battles, I think.
Yeah, and watching this team in this most wanted, I mean, obviously they've got eyes on somebody. You hear the burst for fire coming up top. They're just making sure nobody's going to take the zip up the elevator, but only about a minute and some change left on this. So this is, you know, trying to draw out anybody else, but they're just not getting that attention that they're potentially looking for. And I mean, kind of like what you're talking about. I don't necessarily, it's tactical positioning. We don't call it camping. Tactical positioning. I don't like what's going on here. I think it's too slow a gameplay. I mean, you said it in the intro.
Yeah.
Just go W key, go find people.
Yeah, and that's what, you know. And what's interesting is, like, to your point, right, having those contracts to give you the information of the next zone is supposed to enable you to do that, right? It's supposed to enable you to have the foresight of knowing exactly where you need to rotate and reposition to, and having a plan of action ready to execute when you need to do it. And in the meantime, you can now afford yourself as much time as possible to go seek out engagements, to find people, get those frags, reduce the numbers, and get yourself a Warzone victory.
Of the day, that is everybody's objective, to get that victory. You see the Kar 98 starting to come out now on top of that FFAR, picking up a little more reconnaissance, the UAVs. And I mean, the amount of recons that these guys have done, they're going to know pretty much all the way up to the end of the game as to which building is going to be the best one that they can tactically position in to wait till the end of the game. You're not going to get a lot of points for it for eliminations, but trying to ensure that, because we, as I said, placement points are a lot. That victory, 25 points, is a lot, and it's a pretty steep fall off after that top 10.
And imagine
top 5 even.
And imagine, Caribou, 2 dubs. Just pull off. Just get 2 today. Just get 2 right now. That's 50 points to your squad. That is now going to just propel you so far ahead, potentially, to where it's going to actually be mathematically impossible for anyone to reach you. unless they're matching in Warzone victories, right? So I genuinely want to see I want to see a repeat today. I want to see a back-to-back. I want to see, you know, these guys play more confidently.
Yeah, and it will be interesting to see if we do have something like that, because I don't think we have, as of yet, seen a back-to-back or even having 2 victories come out in the same night. I mean, you only have 3 games to work with, and as we just spectate on this team alone, we already know exactly how this game is going to go. We get this omnipotence that we can know, outside of everybody else in the lobby, except for these 3 right here, that we're going to be going to the airport by the end of this game. So being able to take that high ground, sit up on top airport, is going to be very important.
And I love that. I love that foresight of being able to know exactly where you want to position yourself, get there before anyone else, and then make that your stronghold and essentially and effectively win the game just off of position and knowledge.
Absolutely. You need that knowledge. I think even the more difficult about the airport especially is that when you do get down there, you know, you have the tunnels that go underneath and through. And it's a very difficult area to navigate when it gets down into the last zones. So the fact that you're already in a position, I think, is going to be huge for that. Imagine if you hit that. Ooh.
Oh, I know, right? But he's
disabled.
got another chance. Come on now. Where's the tracking?
Sensitivity's a little too low.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what it is. What are you, an esport coach? Caribou, I didn't realize you were coaching now.
I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two.
Hey, wise words from an esports coach, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, just hit my DMs. I'm willing to coach anybody.
You heard it.
I can't do
first.
it myself, but I can tell them how to do it.
Hey, you know, listen, if anybody knows the game of League of Legends and they know a small team, an organization called SKT, now known as T1, then one of the most legendary coaches of all time, Coma, was hard stuck gold as a league player himself, but this man coached that team to several world championships. So never ever sleep on the knowledge or wisdom of a coach or of someone, because although they may not be able to execute and have the natural raw talent as some others, they may have the brain that's necessary.
This little skirmish right here is a little tricky one, and another thing that is going to bring up a point. I mean, they at least get it down. You hear the revive come and swing the corner.
Yeah.
Deleted.
Yeah, that was a really risky push. The way he did it, he didn't, you know, he didn't kind of shoulder peek or jiggle the corner like I would have liked him to. Just kind of ran out there and just wasn't the first on the trigger. Now, though, can we get Balsa to do anything? No, my goodness. I'm not sure who's just holding down this roof right now, but that guy, I can't see from the kill feed because it's a little bit blurry for me, but my man is just annihilating everyone in sight. And that'll be, I think, 2 different squads that go down.
Getting that one, I mean, the full elimination right there, you know, see if they have anything on the back end for their gulag. But, you know, they had such a good setup already, knowing that they need to go to the airport. And started to make their way over there, just couldn't quite finish this. So we're going to tag onto the team that already had the recon missions done and knowing where they need to go. See what they can do. You see, same principle. They are currently the ones being targeted by a bounty as opposed to the ones that had the bounty. And a player down, gonna be coming back at least, so it's a start. But you're kind of in a sticky situation because you got people top airport, you got people ATC. They're rocking a hard place.
Well, Mr. Pistachio now on screen might be a victim of that right now, or at least his squad is, as teammate is gonna fall there and now need a redeploy, and Pistachio's just chilling. He's not trying to leave right now because he knows the area is hot and he knows he has a man in the sky with absolutely no one. So no help, and has to be playing this one a little bit more patient than he probably would like to.
Yeah, because you can just imagine that they already know that someone's going to be right there. He at least gets that line of sight of great shots to get the down.
Oh, no.
That's a great counterplay on the other side in the sense that, I mean, there's now a couple of teams that are converging all in this location. So this is
This is
problematic
beautiful.
for the guy that was even pushing them. But yeah, a great challenge right there. It's just a matter of, well, you're going to get tagged from one side or the other.
I agree, and I think this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted the chaos, I wanted the mayhem, and we may just have it on our hands now. And I think that what I love too, as much as I don't like it as a player, as a caster, I love third parties, because then as a play-by-play, I really can go off. But you know, I hope that we get to see some of that here, and we started to see a little bit of that, little glimpses of that right now. But it's still early. We still have a few games ahead of us, so yeah, I am very excited for what's in store for us tonight, Caribou.
Yeah, and now this is a point where you just get super to yourself. Everything's unlooted here. You're going to be able to pick up that scavenger contract as well, get a little more money, be able to get an armor satchel at some point to help your boy out as soon as he comes back. But the fact you have this wide open, you get everything that you could possibly want out of this, and you still have the understanding of where the zones are going to pull for about the next 4 circles. And I was going to say, it's only a matter of time before you load those stopping power rounds. That FFAR, that ground loot is about the best you can get, and you're just going to hold on to that until you get a better FFAR. That's the only reason you drop an FFAR.
And what's great about these stopping power rounds is if you're a sharpshooter, you know, perhaps maybe a shroud level shooter, 25 rounds with those stopping power rounds, you can down 2 people effectively with just one magazine easily. Yeah, you just can't miss a lot of your bullets, but it's just FFAR will shred people. And so I agree. I love to see it. And because of that advantage, that knowledge of knowing what you can do to someone, it would just empower me with all the confidence to just get in someone's face, get in someone's grill. But what I think I haven't stressed enough yet, we haven't really talked about enough, is that as an individual, one actually can't be as aggressive as they would like to be or W key unless they have everyone else's approval and unless everyone's on the same page. And that's what really is like the crux of what makes a really good team, is when they can really execute as 3 in a very aggressive, tight formed way. And that's really what makes a difference from a good team to a great team.
I'm a little curious as to, in this rotation, obviously we have been seeing this player getting shot, lost some armor along the way. The closest buy station, unfortunate to be in Storage Town, didn't get one over at the gas station, didn't have one at Super either. So you're forced to rotate all the way over here, and you're getting shot at, so, you know, somebody knows that you're there. You also, well, now both of you have enough money for a loadout, and it's only going to continue to add up. So you get your teammate back, you get both of your loadouts if you want to, and then you guys are right back where you started, able to make your way back towards airport again. And because of the fact that we know it's going to end airport, and the building of airport itself is going to have an effect, you got to start to cash in on some resources.
Well, this is starting to look like bad news bears here for Mr. Pistachio. I think there is a squad on that roof here. You see the ping on screen, and you know you saw the one go down immediately. He was able to get the redeploy on his other teammate Catalyst, but obviously not before his third goes down. So this is starting to look like a situation where we might see squads, because of how chaotic these fights might end up becoming. We might see 1-man, 2-man squads duking out in the final zone. You know, you just never know. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. Right now, Mr. Pistachio just kind of hold up here, thinking about maybe exiting, but thought a little too late as he gets pushed from behind, and that'll be the end of his life and potentially the end of this team's run here if Catalyst can't get away. Oh, but actually is able to purchase Invil's
bait and switch.
Yeah, a little bait and switch. His
oh
no. Just looks at the semi. Oh no, not like this. Oh, that was actually pretty funny. That was comical. That was comical.
That's
Thank
a
you.
perfect freeze frame record scratch. So you probably wonder how I got in this situation. Staring at 2 Semtex on the wall, and you're like, well, I guess I'm gonna die now. So be the end of that one. But
just
as you said, he got his teammate back.
Transition. But he did, yeah, he did. He got his teammate back, and surprisingly, their hopes are still alive. But yes, don't do that. Please don't do that. Rightfully just kind of hanging on right now and gliding, because he's probably communicating with his team right now what they want to do for this drop here. This very risky drop, as you can see from the ping, but from the live ping, he can already tell there's movement on the ground, so this is obviously going to be a hot drop, and I wouldn't go for it. I'd just be more conservative in this situation. Play for position, right? You're in 11th right now. You could get some more placement points if you just hanged on a little longer, but here we are. He's dropping down. He's going aggro. Let's see what he can do.
And of course, everyone's going to get the notification now if they are still in this area. Hey, someone's dropping in on your area now, so you have to, draw a little bit of attention. That parachute makes a lot of noise. You don't have the money for it yet. You at least get the weapons, though. Well, I mean, you have two loadouts here. You could pick up both, but you just have to assume this team is still somewhere very close by.
Wow. Gets away with getting his loadout. Doesn't have very many plates to his name. In fact, pretty much none as he refills his last plate there. But I still think his chances are relatively good, even despite, what we were just talking about while he was in air. He was able to get to the ground safely, got his loadout safely, got his perks safely, and might be even making his way towards his second set of perks here, Caribou. This is insane.
Yeah, this is a solid play. I mean, you're not going to be able to see them on the heartbeat. Their whole squad's ghosted up, had their whole thing as well. I mean, they didn't even see him to begin with. Stopping power is going to be helpful. Load that up. Hold on to dead silence, which I am surprised that he didn't pop running through storage, because it is very precarious in the sense that you can probably just expect this team is still around here somewhere doing exactly what he is. But yeah, at this, it's 100% just up to him. And it's going to be all that he can do for Envy here to be able to finish this game out. But you got to play it smart, play it safe, and doing his due diligence to check these corners, make sure it's good. You get a self-revive too. Wow. This game is just doing everything to help Envy out.
No doubt.
Loot.
Oh, was that contact? Yup, that was definitely contact. Here we go. He has now been found, but can he survive and rat his way out of it? Pulls out the heartbeat, but doesn't realize they met him up top on the roofs, and he will go down, and that will end the run there for him and his team. But very well played. Look at the placement now, right? Now you're way closer than you were, and your team's gonna get a lot more points. Now, will it end up being consequential? We don't know. I can't give you that answer right now, but those points could end up being critical enough to make a difference in placement and get you to the finals, or maybe not. And that fight is, I think that's what's gonna be important here this week.
This is exactly the situation that all these teams that did recons have prepared for. There's already a team on top airport. That you just saw was the resources that those teams needed to invest in, because once you get here and you have to deal with players on top of a building that are above you, you have to have something of a precision or a cluster strike in your pocket to be able to work with this. These players on top parking garage are also going to be problematic, and if you need something to be able to force them out of their position, also you can shoot through this wall, so you can't assume that you're safe here.
Good points all around, Caribou. And it's interesting is this kind of situation reminds me of casting my PUBG days, because of the fact that when you got to these late game circles in PUBG, similarly, people were just so held down in their buildings or in their strongholds, and it was just a very tall hill to climb if you were going to try to get out of one. And right there, doesn't even notice what looks like a cinder block in front of him is actually just an enemy player, and he gets eviscerated. Boot to follow suit rather quickly, and that'll be a Warzone victory.
All it takes just cleaning it up on the back end, and those tents even thinner than the wall, just being able to shoot through that, and you just get caught tunnel vision staring at your heartbeat sensor. I know it's happened to a lot of people a lot of different times, and end of the day, well, you just get caught snoozing and you give the victory away to somebody else.
And you end up losing. You had the opportunity for a pun there, Caribou. You missed it, dog. I thought of all the people, the guy with the dad jokes would get the dad puns too. I'm just playing.
No, you're right. I did. I'm a little upset about it.
No, it's all good. But I agree to your point. You know, it just is unfortunate. You know, he maybe could have played that out a little further, maybe get to a top 3 placement. Who knows? But unfortunately was moving a little too fast. Had the dead silence still in the pocket. I don't know why he didn't use it. Obviously, footsteps travel pretty far and they're pretty loud. And we know these gamers have really good headsets, all right? I mean, I think only Asu's playing with Apple earbuds. Let's be honest here. But nonetheless, you got to just be mindful in those late game scenarios when that circle's so small and there's people lurking anywhere. And obviously he fell to that reason, but kudos and congrats to, I didn't get to see the team who won that, but very, very clean. They held it down there and, you know, well-deserved victory.
And just out of the assumption that they knew where they had to go, you know, or the fact that, you know what, it's in the circle's getting pretty small, just top airport, one more time, parking garage, and then you just try to maintain the height as long as you possibly can. You hear the fire coming from Storage Town. Okay, well, now you know at least where a couple of teams are rotating from. Keep an eye out, and then it's just strictly business out of that. And the numbers game, usually having numbers is very helpful. And of course it happened.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, that does conclude our first round of our AVGL Collegiate Champions League. Don't go anywhere. Right after this break, we'll be back with another round of Warzone for you just after this.
In 2020, we interrupted your regularly scheduled programming to bring you $250,000 worth of scholarships through Intel Inspires. Now, in 2021, we are the regularly scheduled programming. We are proud to announce the new AVGL high school program, backed by a myriad of colleges, influencers, and esports professionals. Up to $400,000 worth of scholarships, paid esports internships, content creator camps, and 50+ exclusive tournaments and events. We know the ropes, and after the experience granted to us through Intel Inspires, we're no longer tying knots, we're tying bows. Because esports isn't about skill, it's not about age, it's not even about experience, it's about attitude. And we at the AVGL are dedicated to bringing that attitude from the vault of the esports corporations and into your classroom. If there's one thing we've learned from a year at the forefront of collegiate esports, it's that professional gaming doesn't start with us. It starts with you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the AVGL Collegiate Champions League. We have been your hosts, JJ, alongside me, Caribou, and we just concluded our first game of our final week here and of our qualifiers in week 5. And it was kind of a spicy one there at the end. Pretty exciting if that's just what we've got to start with. So pretty great stuff probably ahead of us.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we got exactly what we asked for. We got the W keys. We got that little bit of aggro gameplay coming in. We'll risk, reward, dropping back into Storage Town. But that's only game 1. As you said, we still got a couple games to go. And we wouldn't even be here if we didn't have the wonderful support from Esport Certified. You can shop there. Website is down below, esportcertified.com. That is a gaming gear destination exclusively for anyone affiliated into Scholastic Esports World. They have all of your brand name products, the HyperX, the Razer, everything you could possibly imagine for your peripherals to up your game in style. Visit that website again down below right there. It's on screen all day long. No way you can miss it. So a huge shout out to them because they're a huge help to where we're trying to get next week.
And that is for our finals here of our Collegiate Champions League. Of course, AVGL. These guys, these teams are they've just been so much fun to watch, and I'm excited to see who's gonna make it to our final here, but only time will tell, and 2 games separate us from that answer, Caribou. But here we go, back into Verdansk we have gone, and I can't tell if that's help me out, Caribou. Is that Blizzle?
Is Flizzle.
Flizzle.
It's an F. A
It's
Flizzle.
a Flizzle. I need to get my eyes checked, I think. But Flizzle on screen here for you guys. And of course, counting that AUG with the thermal on it.
That gun is not going to last long. That's going to, as soon as you get your own loadout, that'll be.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you already got a teammate down, which is mildly concerning.
Yeah, mildly, I'd say a little bit more than mildly. Maybe schmedium, you know, maybe a bit of a schmedium concern, you know.
Yeah, something that that's a future us problem, you know. The team's gonna worry about it when the time comes to get that redeploy. But hey, man, you can't use the bunkers anymore; those are closed. Welcome to the next season.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I don't know. I feel like anytime you have to redeploy really early like this, it means your gulag's already been used really early, and then on top of that, which doesn't, you know, I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate and you know, say that with a smaller lobby like this, losing your gulag early, so to speak, isn't really actually early because you already had 33 left in the lobby as a whole.
Right.
But still, I mean, these guys are really good. You're not playing your average Joe couch, you know, gamer. You're playing guys who are here to win, who are playing for on the collegiate level, and are going to be bringing their A game. And so for you to, you know, kind of squander that early gulag and then also now require teammates to try to scavenge as much money as possible. Obviously, contracts are available, but now they've got to pivot from trying to W key and get some frags to now priority 1 is get our guy back. So it can obviously be a hampering, if you will, and be very, you know, time sensitive or wasting, if you will, having to, you know, redeploy a teammate this early.
Versus where you see this team here doing exactly what they want to do. They all got their loadouts. They've all got a couple of primary weapons, contracts in hand, helicopter in hand as well. This team has the world at their fingertips. And it's just a matter of, okay, where do we want to go from here? What's next? Be able to continue to finish these contracts, stack up a little bit more money, and just try to draw attention to yourself as well as drawing out these other teams so that you can get yourself in a position to start to pick up some kills. They've already got a couple under their belt, at least 3 between those 2. But this is right how you want to be going in this, because as you said, yes, this is the beginning of the game, but there's only 30 other players outside of your trio that's still left alive. And the zone, again, similar to last game, a little further to the west, but very inclusive as to everything that is where a lot of people do tend to drop.
I agree. Now starting to hear some shots. Would expect to see some contact here on the roofs and it quickly dip down back into the buildings, but the hunt is on. Will they actually get through here. Looks like he finally does drop. Action everywhere. He looking behind him. He's not there. Does turn the corner and he's there, but unfortunately goes down. Thankfully, his teammate there to bail him out and get the refrag. But now, once again, as we've already mentioned, with a man down, Gulag also already expired on this teammate. It's now a mission again to get our man back. And you know, I'm not gonna say that it's the hardest thing in the world to do, but in an event like this, where you're now in a tournament setting, where now people are much more hyper aware of their surroundings, and rightfully so, because they're trying to listen for any bit of information that they can get. You're going to be at any time when you're rotating in a much more precarious situation or much more dangerous situation than you would normally be in any other Warzone match. So it becomes a lot more of a mission, I think.
Yeah, and now you're in a position here where this is kind of the opposite of what you want,
Mission
right?
accomplished, by the way.
Sure, you got your trio, but like you're the last player alive in a 1 health helicopter, and you're going towards a high-profile area where this buy station is going to get a decent amount of traffic as this game rotates on because of the fact that, well, it is in the zone, and there's a lot of buildings around it that players are going to be able to maneuver through. But yeah, mission accomplished. You get your teammate back. Still not a lot of money here. They have enough to at least get +1 on the buyback, but it's going to be a very troublesome situation they're in. But the team that we just left, it made their way into stadium, and they're not alone.
They're not alone, indeed. And right now, all of the chaos ensuing, and he tries to go for the jump shot, but doesn't find it. And that will be the end of Flizzle and company, as they will be escorted out of Verdansk. Oh wait, I lied.
Redeploy from the gulag.
Redeploy from the gulag. For some reason, the screen fooled me, made me think that was the end of their journey. But here we are. Obviously, it is for his 2 teammates, though. It's just a one-man mission in Flizzle now.
1 man and $200. Not a lot to work with. Obviously, Flizzle has not got that stimmy yet, so waiting a little bit of help here
man. Me neither. I'm stressed.
See, I made mine in my sleep. I'm just built different.
Oh, I see. All right.
Wake up and it's just
I need to take some notes. I need to get on your training regimen. You on that One Punch Man regimen, or on the, you know, what are you? What's your training regimen? Are you eating the Wheaties in the morning? What's up?
I'm just constantly crushing hopes and dreams.
Oh, all right. That's the secret
It's a very
sauce.
exhausting workout.
I see.
A lot of cardio.
Yeah, oh yeah, I imagine. Imagine. The loadout falling out of the sky now, and does put an eyeball on it, but will he actually chase it down? Obviously, anytime a loadout is dropping from the sky, it's going to attract a little bit of attention. I'm not sure where these guys are in terms of their loadouts. I'm sure they might have their first loadout, but maybe second loadout, as well as second set of perks are still needed. So rightfully eyeballing this loadout and thinking of a plan of action.
And I kind of like this approach as well, as to, you know, they're both in a position to where, you know, they're still in zone. Helicopters coming around, being able to, I wouldn't be surprised if they do draw some attention towards that one. That is probably the second loadout of the other team, as 2 loadouts did drop right there on Super. And, well, yeah, that's going to be at least enemy spotted here. Light them up.
Yeah.
It's at least only one person. Yeah, there's only one person in that chopper, so that's enough to say, yeah, I don't want to be here anymore. Just try to play this one a little bit safer.
Unless? Wait,
I don't know if this is the right move.
It looks like they're going to jump out of the chopper here. He sees one on the right. He gets a little bit of armor damage, gets the kill. And now just going to quickly reload as he's looking for more. But like you said, that was a one-man squad, so I don't think there's going to be anyone else lingering. But of course, you can never be too safe. Or was it?
The gas grenade going down. Chopper getting blown up.
Oh, no.
Armor broke.
Yeah, we see the armor indicator. There's another one lurking and lingering. It might be a 2-man squad then. And now, as he carefully gets the high ground, right, just a wise decision, recognizes, well, he's not really here anymore. Will he go for the chase, though?
Yeah, that's good to force the retreat. Obviously, the player's leaving now. Your threat's going down. Only 5 seconds left. It's just a matter of, okay, well, you know you got numbers on this guy, so you can go after him if you really want to, or at least get line of sight onto where they might be going. But beyond that, this is just a point of, okay, a little bit of a reset here now for this team, figure out their next move. The shot's on. The challenge isn't over.
No, it is not. And now quickly trying to loot as his teammate does look like he gets the down there. Trojan is very well played there now. Chopper is in sky. A little bit of aerial combat looking like over here, even though obviously couldn't tell whether or not there really was any rounds being fired. But and Chopper does fall out of the sky only for a brief second, though, as it looks like he's still kind of hanging on. And there's another one in the distance too, Kirby.
Yeah, 2 choppers here, and it looks like one just got disabled, but Flizzle.
No, not like this.
He found that stimmy.
No,
he got his teammate back,
but not like this.
Can he get out?
Wait, actually?
Weave.
Oh, crash into that ball!
Bob and weave. Bob and weave.
Oh, no! Well, now it's up to the wave. Can he do the wave?
Back 10 and the AUG. One man against the world.
I like that combo. Mac 10 and AUG is a great combo, I think. I think that's, from everything that we speculated on in the meta right now, I think that even if you weren't sure, oh, well, I'll have to pause that thought for a brief second, as he's just going to get an immediate down. Deflegs here, and Trojan with boot. We saw them earlier. These guys are making it look pretty easy right now and feeling comfortable. I haven't seen any of them go down. They all have the self-reses. This teammate, or I'm sorry, Defleegs is actually his name. I think. I don't know how to pronounce it, but regardless, he's got a gas mask. He's got 8 armor plates, right? Like he's so looted and booted. Like, you know, this team's chilling. So now I like what I can see. I want to see them do it a little bit more, but they're W King. This is what we were talking about from before at the start of the broadcast. This is how you play this game. It doesn't matter that there's still 20 left alive. Just run into super, just figure it out, find some contact, and make it happen.
It's just we'll do it live. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out when we get there.
We're doing it live.
And if you find anybody, all right, cool. There you go. But this is, I mean, the same point. This is kind of the approach that I wanted to see more of from the last game. Granted, these teams didn't have the omnipotence that there was. Final zones going to airport where you would need some more resources. But one more time, back at hospital, Wave's got the teammate back. And, well, Flizzle, you had your chance. We F4 coming back this time.
Yeah. Thankfully, F4 didn't alt F4 after being the first one to go down, and giving him a shot to come back to life over Flizzle. Not maybe a bad choice after seeing Flizzle's driving skills and unfortunate demise. But nonetheless, contract picked up there, so he's going to have some opportunity to get a little bit more moolah and hopefully get that 3rd man back before that zone gets a little too small and that gas gets a little too close.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you're going to have to abandon these buildings going up the hills with that supply run. I'd be curious if they do decide. And I think that's actually a really smart play by being able to buy back your teammate who hovered, I would assume, long enough to be able to check to see if that area around that buy station is clear. So as soon as he hits this ground, buy station, boom, you got a free buyback. You're back to a full power 3-0.
Yeah, well played. I mean, these guys obviously sharing the same level of thinking and 5-headedness as Caribou here, and making the right call, obviously getting the 3rd man back. Chopper now being pinged, and just like that, these guys are at full strength. They're not feeling, well, relatively full strength. Obviously loadouts and
an asterisk on it.
Yeah, precisely. But still, they can make now. They can cross off the checklist, the to-do list of, gather everyone back up. That's priority number 1. It's been taken care of. Now we can look to take some fights again. See someone in the distance, though.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, he's just going to be annihilated there. Good timing on the fire. I'm sure they timed it with each other, and now eyes are on the chopper. Bird in the sky is not going to stay in the sky for very long, it seems, or he's just going to exit. He's just out of there.
Yeah, Chopper's pretty low health, so I'm sure that anyone else that's over there is going to realize that situation. They're going to start taking some shots at it. Got the down in the street, finish him off. This is, a team just trying to control from hotel any rotations from super. And, as you said, probably synced up that fire on top of the superstore, but shots still coming in here on them, plus the ping, so they know that there's people still over there. Plus the strike coming in is going to be enough to at least convince them to get out of their current position. But this building still being in zone, that, you know, they don't have to go anywhere. They can stay right here their whole time. Just make sure that they cover P's and Q's, dot the T's, cross the I's, and then they're going to be good to go.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, you know, I talk about the W key all the time, but as I kind of briefly mentioned before about my PUBG casting days, is that those guys were all about the tactical positioning once it got down to the late game, you know, final circle. And it makes sense a little bit, because obviously you don't want to be just caught out in the middle of nowhere and get your head taken off by all these snipers that are obviously very much present in the lobby. I mean, I wasn't sure if we were going to see a lot of sniping today, but we've seen at least one sniper on every squad that we've gotten a chance to look at. So there are guys out there taking heads off, and it makes it even more of a priority to get to these high grounds, to lock down these high grounds and fight for these high grounds, because if not, you're probably going to be on the shorter end of the stick.
Yeah, and now, you know, going into this zone, granted, it's only the third circle that'll be coming in with the gas, but you have a decent amount of time, and depending on where, you know, number 4, number 5 go, you start to get a little more precarious as to, you know, how close are you to Promenade, train station, how much of these woods are actually going to be relevant as to the next rotations, because similar in conversation, and it's a game all about resources and cost efficiency. Like we saw with the other team, incredibly efficient in the sense that they get one buyback, pick up a supply run contract, and for the price of 1, you get 2. Now you just have to wait for the next loadout to drop, which is going to be a little bit before they get that. But, you know, you're at a point where you're saving a good amount of money, and you're going to be able to allocate that to UAVs, cluster strikes, precision airstrikes, something better. Self-revives even at that point, because we know that whole team is out of gulags. So it's going to come down to the teams that have those resources, and this team right here has a cluster and has a precision in their pockets, so they have what they need, and you're going to be able to force players out of these covered positions. You know, if they're going to be posted up on trees or something where there's just no cover at all, well, one precision airstrike, a couple A-10s go Burt, and then they're gone.
Now, refresh my memory, Caribou, the second loadout drops at the beginning or the end of the third circle? Or...
It gets number 5, actually.
Oh, 5. Wow.
Yep.
I was like, you know, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, because you had mentioned the second set of perks and the second loadout is going to be a while because of the money. Obviously, 10K, a lot of money to raise, and I don't think you're starting a GoFundMe anytime soon. So naturally, I definitely thought that their best option was probably to wait for that second loadout to drop. But I don't know why I was thinking this third circle. Start of the 5th, right?
Yeah. It's later on in that, and then at the end of the 5th is when the gulag closes. So anybody else that still has that resource available is not going to have that, and then you can start to put something on towards focusing on a self-revive to keep yourself relevant, just in case you do end up dropping down. But it's a matter of, you know, basically just taking a smart investment, right? It's, okay, can I afford to just dump all of the money into UAVs, airstrikes, etc.? Because, you know, God forbid it happen, your teammate drops, and then, well, that's it. And they don't have a chance to come back, and you already spent all your money. You can't buy them back. Your teammate's also a resource, just like all of the kill streaks.
A lot of red dots right now on the mini map, and finds one, and with a few hit markers, that'll be all she wrote for him. Obviously gets caught out in the open, and this is exactly what I meant. I mean, these guys are what I was referring to earlier. These guys who are taking these strongholds and pretty much locking down these roofs now have all the positional power to essentially rain terror down on anybody caught not in a building or not even behind the safety of a wall. Because even if you're peeking your head out through a window, all it takes is 1 moment, 1 second for a sniper to catch you peeking at the wrong time, and it's over. So very, very tactical play is necessary here towards the latter parts of the circle in the game. And as this circle continues to shrink, and as more and more of those red dots start to appear in the very, very close vicinities, it's gonna start to be pretty hairy.
Yeah, and you see the gulag flashing, closing. Players, at least, I mean, they got eyes on. Yeah, with that heartbeat sensor, and it's just a matter of, okay, figure out where they're at. And He'll go from there. That's,
no, he did.
Hey, gravity. Hey.
He thought he had the ledge, and the ledge said, "No, sir, you are not Spider-Man or Spooderman. You must fall." That's actually critical. That could make or break this game for them.
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about too, because that player had the cluster strike in their pocket, had a gas mask, had a full satchel, and was in a position. They were totally okay. But now all of a sudden you're gone. Your team has already dumped all of their money into other resources. They can't afford to buy you back, so they're forced to scrounge whatever's around in these buildings, in the gas station, in any of these storage units, and hope they get enough. It's the next loadout, so that'll help if you do get your teammate back, but you gotta check, see, is there more than one loadout here? Because all of a sudden this might be contested, and you might be going into 2v3.
Yeah, and that, I mean, it doesn't even matter because you're still not going to be at full strength. Like you said, you had kill streaks, you had a full satchel, you just had so much already in your pockets for you to die to such a careless death. It's just going to be rather cumbersome for him and his team now to deal with that kind of a petty theft. But here we go, heartbeat sensor coming in clutch. I love the heartbeat sensor. It's actually one of my favorite things about Warzone. And I'm just so happy that they put it in a BR. It's legendary.
Oh,
but yeah, I heard the crack in the sky there, as I'm sure you just did. So very dangerous and precarious situation to be in here for these two gentlemen.
Well, one shot, one kill, but hey, sometimes that's all you need. I really like what Capo's doing here. Very efficient, doing the due diligence, checking every corner, getting the slide cancel. It's just not afraid to take these shots at all. I mean, that's an easy one that you just pick up right there. Making 6 kills for Capo here. This is just a very clinical sweep going through Boneyard, which has a lot of angles that are hard to cover.
With that silencer, it's really hard to track where those shots are coming from, and look at him. He's just going to continue to push aggressively. Has to be careful, though. Took a bit of damage and rightfully does a little bit of sliding around, trying to play back up, but recognizes he needs to take the fight. Now sees his teammate has gone down. The gas is encroaching. He has to think fast. Now sees him on his left side. Can he get the shots? Does turn the corner fast enough. Gets the first shot and gets the kill. Now able to move on. And as much as that was a huge success for him personally, now he must recognize that he is a one-man show, and it is all up to him.
That's exactly what we're talking about before as well. Double dipping here into the ARs. You use that burst rifle, going with the M16 this time. It's not completely out of the meta. It's still pretty relevant in what's happening. But as soon as you start to get up close and personal, you switch to that FFAR, just a barrel stuff, fully automatic, and just take the place of your SMG. And it shows why it works. And Capo here is making sure that this whole sector is clear so that he doesn't get snuck up on from behind and try to pick up a few more kills in the last 7 players alive.
Here we go. Speaking of, finds one. Does he get the down? He does. But oh my goodness, gets absolutely lasered with that AUG from, I believe, Mike here. I'm just going to assume this was Mike. Yeah, Mike took him down. And that was it. Just like that, we were trying to build a storyline. We were like putting all the eggs in the basket of Capo, and unfortunately, a man just bit the dust.
That was a really good counterplay, at least. I mean, you get the down. If you're Capo, you get the down. You try to finish because, well, every kill counts, and it's back against the wall. You can just expect that there's obviously a few people that are doubled up, potentially having full teams here, just like Mike is doing now. Because as soon as you get it down, you got to get that finish. And unfortunately for Capo, just no more cover. And now Mike, who unbeknownst, Capo's already cleared this entire area out, so you can hope that no one is going to be behind him, but still checking and making sure as the circle comes in. But this is not going to be an easy finish.
No, not at all. And he's playing this one very, very slow.
In the circle too.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have a gas mask, so he better hope that no part of his body is creeping out of this gas here. He doesn't even trust it, I think. I'm not sure what is. Oh, the cluster strike. Okay.
Yeah. That cluster strike's virtually stationary. So that came in from a very close position as to where he was.
Yeah.
And now it's going to be a thing that you have to deal with because, yeah, you can't stay on that crate in that corner because if the circle doesn't pull your way, you're done for. That's it. You don't stand a chance. You have to turn this corner. You have to swing it.
I totally agree. No gas mask in hand, so you just can't afford to just be caught in the late game gas like right now. So I think he's making really good decisions right now as a one-man team and has to play this slow, might be able to clutch it up. There's still 4 other squads though, so everyone else playing that tactical positioning game yet again, and so I think Mike's best option here is to wait for people to come to him as he did just now, and recognizes the presence of mind, someone behind him, but also someone to the left and the right and every other direction, Caribou, as he goes down. And that'll be a Warzone victory for the opposing team as they close it out.
And that's one of those things where you just hope that you're in a 1v2v2 instead of a 1v1v3. And unfortunate for Mike, it turns out to be a 1v1v3, and you're in a spot now, rocking a hard place where you get the first one, you get credited with that at least, but on the other side, almost a great counterplay just to cover. Like, as soon as you hear the footsteps to the left, throw the stun to slow down the push. Just couldn't get that first down. You get that first down, all of a sudden, maybe this is a different conversation we're having, and Mike is pulling off this insane 1v3 and being able to walk away with that victory. But numbers advantage, can't quite do anything else about it. So that now goes back to Capo, who killed Mike's teammate, and
the dominoes all fall and affect each other, and I totally like where you're going and connecting the dots. You know, that meme, that Sunny meme of Charlie on the board, connecting all the lines like that right there. We love to see it. Exactly. We love to see it, right? And I think that it was played the best he could. What I would like to speak more on is the coordination and the effectiveness of that last squad, right? Like, they recognize that, hey, we're probably the only 3-man squad left. We need to use this advantage and just pounce. We need to secure this victory. We can't mess around and give, a 1v1s to this last remaining person, because if you give him 1v1s, you give him a chance, he might actually pull it off. He might actually win, right? So recognizing that is not going to be an option, and having the presence of mind to push as a team and utilize that advantage and being no fear, that's what you want to see. That's a championship team, and that's why they are going to end up securing that victory. Now, where does that put them on the leaderboard? I don't know, but we'll have to see if that changes things, and if it actually makes a difference here when all's said and done.
Yeah, when all is said and done, indeed. That's game number 2 under wraps. We have one final game of the final qualifier for the Collegiate Champions League featuring Warzone, and it will be coming up right after this break. Don't go anywhere.
In 2020, we interrupted your regularly scheduled programming to bring you $250,000 worth of scholarships through Intel Inspires. Now, in 2021, we are the regularly scheduled programming. We are proud to announce the new AVGL high school program, backed by a myriad of colleges, influencers, and esports professionals. Up to $400,000 worth of scholarships, paid esports internships, content creator camps, and 50+ exclusive tournaments and events. We know the ropes, and after the experience granted to us through Intel Inspires, we're no longer tying knots, we're tying bows. Because esports isn't about skill, it's not about age, it's not even about experience, it's about attitude. And we at the AVGL are dedicated to bringing that attitude from the vault of the esports corporations and into your classroom. If there's one thing we've learned from a year at the forefront of collegiate esports, it's that professional gaming doesn't start with us. It starts with you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back here to the AVGL Collegiate Champions League featuring Warzone. Caribou joined alongside my main man, JJ Cass, plural this time around. We are here to celebrate St. Patrick's Day in style with our last game of the qualifiers before the finals next week. Are you feeling it, JJ?
I am feeling it. I also did forget it was St. Patty's, but thankfully I am wearing green in the form of Grogu. Yeah, and you've got the green LEDs. It works out. I've got the Grogu in the back as well. We're celebrating, right? But what I'm also looking forward to and trying to celebrate is this final coming up next week. But before we get to that, we got to figure out who's gonna be there. And we are arriving now to our final game, the deciding game. See who it will be advancing to our finals. It's some pretty exciting stuff. I know these guys are just about ready to drop in, so we're going to be getting you the action as quick as possible. But this is the final game. It's do or die. Go big or go home, Caribou.
This is it. This is everything on the table. Chips in the middle. Just full send. Gotta go. We gotta do it now. We're gonna pick up where we left off with the Wave and Flizzle and F4. Last we saw them scurrying through Storage Town before they met an early demise to come out, and Circle is more generous than everything else we've had tonight, where it's pretty much just the whole map, so who knows where we're going.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's good that it's not prison and shipwreck. You know, like I'm always happy whenever it's not prison. So it's good for me. It works out for me. And I like when the circle is more centralized, just because now it adds a little bit more of like the now the entire map could technically be tongue twisters, be a part of a danger zone or be the part of the last circle, and you don't really know whether or not some areas are going to be very much more hot drops where a lot of people landed or not. And like you said, when it encompasses multiple hot drops or areas that people like to drop, now you could really be running into numerous squads. And that's why I think that these guys are going to continue to do these recon contracts and just try to get all that information that they can.
Yeah, and just starting out here, we get a lone player. I don't know if the teammates just didn't show, just didn't connect, or what complication was, but Valley here from West Virginia, 1v everyone.
If this guy gets the Warzone victory, that gets the dub, I'm gonna cry on broadcast, Caribou, for him. That would be such an insane just feat to tout and celebrate for yourself. Like, I would just be so I'd be thrilled for him. I'd just be thrilled for him. That'd be insane.
It's almost poetic being able to spectate Valley here, West Virginia, because the first qualifier we did, game number 1 of week 2 of qualifiers, we were spectating Phantom at the end of the game in a 1v1v2 situation and just missed it by that much, but almost came away with an insane clutch at the end of the game. Now here we are with Valley in a 1v a lot situation, just trying to figure out how to clutch this one and how to min-max those points. But granted, from the finishes we've seen West Virginia cash in on, they're probably doing pretty good on points here.
Yeah, well, here we go. Contact has been made, and Valley does get the down, I believe.
Yep.
So now, rightfully, though, doesn't go for the thirst. He's going to reposition. Try to see if any of his enemy squad mates are in the area and are immediately collapsing to try to assist.
This is such a hard fight. It's such a bad place too. I mean, because of the fact that you have that building you have to be able to deal with, and then you have, you know, all of the foliage to look around. I'm honestly surprised, just because the fact that it is just the +1, that as soon as you got that first down, didn't call in the airstrike. There's someone in this building now, though. You just heard that door get kicked down. And so did Valley. We gotta be able to get that shot. Oh no! Self-revive.
Oh man, not
Back
like
against the wall. Yeah. Not like this.
Well, that'll be an unfortunate demise and end, a rather early one too. So can't even really hope for placement points. Not really sure where the that means West Virginia falls, but we'll see. We will see. In the meantime, though, of course, we'll update you on that. But in the meantime, a Cap Crew now on screen, but not for very much longer. I do believe I saw the Gulag symbol on one of his teammates. So that squad's hopes are still alive, but now in the hands of just one person, I believe, as we now rotate back over to Flizzle and friends.
I think that's very convenient, you know, being able to pick up that kill on Cap Crew right there. OU representing, but Crit, the one that picked it up, trying to make up for some lost ground after that last little encounter with gravity in the last game.
Yeah, well said. Encounter with gravity. That's one way to put it. I mean, I personally, if I was him, would have been so devastated. I would have been like, guys, kick me off the team. Just kick me off the team. I don't deserve to be here. I'm just not ready for it. Like, no, I'm just kidding. Jokes aside, jokes aside. It just happens sometimes, you know. It happens to the best of us. It is what it is. I'm just super self-critical, but it's good. It shows actually a really kind of a good player's mettle if they can shrug off something like that and just keep it pushing, right? You know, like recognize that, hey, it happened, whatever, let's just move on. Next game, new game, so let's focus on this. Let's try to get this dub. So we'll see if they can pull it off.
Yep, we'll see what we can do for them, but unfortunately finding yourself in the Gulag in this early, it's a pretty big lobby, there's a lot of ground to cover, might necessarily mean that well, no one's dying yet, so Cap Crew's just have to wait this one out and get sent right back.
Chilling like a villain. He said, well, I'll take that free low, thank you. I mean, in one way, you don't get the free kill, the free frag that you would have gotten, so that's kind of a con, but you don't either run the risk of not getting the win and needing the redeploy. Instead, you just get the freebie, you get to drop right straight down onto a loadout and reconvene with your team.
And this is just a situation of, it's Quarry. There's no shot anyone's in Quarry.
No shot. No
full
shot,
sin.
bucko.
Yeah, and then, well, just because as it would happen, you know, that all of a sudden you just find one player and you're like, well, why are you here? Why? Why? There's nothing up
that's
here.
my favorite, actually, Caribou. If you want to know what tilts me the most is the, why are you here? Kind of like, you know, death. Like, why, you know, why are you running? Why are you here? Just, I don't get it. Oh man, because it happens to me all the time in Valorant. You know, you'll be mid rotate and then you're just like, what? Were you not just with the rest of your team over there on A site? Why are you here on C site, like a mile away? Like, what are you doing? Sleep. Anyways, saw some contact there though on the roof of the hood, or the roof of the hood. The roof of the hood. Oh, redundant. The roof of this building. Wow, not a vehicle, not a car. But now we get to play Run Up the Stair Simulator.
We love Stair Simulator.
Yeah.
This is, you know, and knowing that there's a team here, on top of the fact that you have a team across the way that you just took some shots at, gonna be an interesting challenge. You just gotta immediately. The swing left is brave. I think on the approach, I personally would swing right back behind the wall just to make sure that there's not gonna be anybody over there because they expect you to swing left. Nobody expects a Spanish Inquisition. You swing right, you're clear.
Well, the roof now firmly in control of Flizzle and friends. I love that. It just rolls off the tongue, you know. It just makes sense. Double takes for that Claymore. Didn't realize it was a friendly one.
Yeah. You and me both.
Yeah, exactly. I do that all the time too, though. You just never know. You know, it's better to be careful than not.
This is also interesting in the sense of where they're at. You know, the fact that you had the player that was up there, and well, who knows where they went. Plus, a team that was, you know, rotating perpendicular to you, so who knows where they went. But back up to the Quarry side of the world. See at least a +1. Aaron is back. Cap Crew's got at least that. Scavenger trying to get picked up, trying to get a little more pocket change for a teammate.
Well, now switching back over to Flizzle and friends, and still a full squad, good amount of money in the pockets, and right now trying to chase down what might be a squad here in this SUV, as they did see it drive off in the distance, but only got a few hit markers. Didn't really hit a whole lot.
At least a start. Somewhere in there, like right as we cut back over to them, they were able to pick up another kill. So that's at least another +2 for that. But beyond, you'd like to be able to try to get that vehicle disabled, try to, force the issue for the other side. But Quarry, convenient factor that nobody's in Quarry means you get a lot of loot for yourself, which includes a little bit of money to be able to get your whole squad back.
Yeah, lots of moolah just laying around in these legendary boxes, and of course a lot of just unopened supply boxes as he gets. Of course the munitions as well as the armor box. I mean, he's chilling.
Well, he's chilling, but Gumpy's also chilling, looking at a gray screen because he just died.
Oh wow!
So someone is at Quarry. And what
was that?
Why?
A snipe? Was that somebody? Is that somebody just camping? Or I mean, I apologize. Tactical positioning on top of a building.
Thank you. Say it right.
Because that was a clean headshot in the kill feed from what I could see.
Yeah. Now you're a bounty being picked up on the player that just got bought back. Is still in the air and already is being hunted. That's not ideal, but
yeah.
A little bit of money. Hopefully that there's something in this building. A couple of boxes. Get that armor plate, maybe a gun. That should get it. That's probably not the gun you want. Nobody wants Pellington.
The Pellington. No, you know what's funny is I kind of like the Pellington just because it's kind of fun to, just dome people sometimes with it because it's just a nice little bolt action rifle. But it's like for quick scopes. It's like just for like fun, quick skirmishes in the first circle. Like nothing past that.
Yeah, it's one of those guns that like someone on YouTube will make a video for. It's like, this Pellington loads insane, and then it's not, but they just
had one good highlight play.
They're good.
And then we had one good highlight play, and they're like, the Pellington is correct.
And then the rest of it's all FFAR gameplay. Well, thanks.
Exactly.
Thanks for nothing.
Thanks for debating me with the title, making me think that there was actually a cracked loadout.
Yeah, the loadout is you get one kill with it and then you drop it.
No,
because it's worthless.
No. Well, now looks like we are getting into this SUV here. Love the skin. Very pog skin, if I must say so myself.
Teammates back as well, so now heading in the direction we saw that vehicle leave earlier. So I wonder if they're going to be on the pursuit of that. Just try to find where that player's gone.
Love this.
One of my favorite things about spectating. It's so good because physics is just hard to spectate in this game.
It really is, though. I forgot that this is what it looks like. I love this. Great game. Indie developer company, guys. Activision is obviously an indie developer company. Give them a break, guys.
I also like just the fact that you stop right there outside of TV station, and it looked like there was a recon device that's on underneath their SUV, basically. So you know that there's a pretty good chance that somebody might be trying to make a rotation over towards TV station. And lo and behold, look who it is. It's the other team. That's their recon underneath the SUV that just got parked there. We're about to see some streams crossed.
Exciting. This is exciting stuff right here. They know that because that vehicle is nice and pretty looking, that there's and still revving, that it's probably meaning that there's a squad nearby. So rightfully so, they're being very cautious here as they enter this compound, and I don't know if they're gonna look to try to take the roof here as we get the drop indicator. Yep.
I know flare's there. They heard it. They know the players are down there. As long as that flare's still up there, those players are within that area, inside of that recon. So it's going to be a thing that you have to try to find out where they're at. UAV's up. Not going to tell you anything. They got 2 loadouts. They got all their perks.
Yeah,
one player down.
Wow. Oh yeah, there you have it already. And I'm keen on the squad that already has the high ground, right? Like I feel like they just have the inherent better position. And they're playing it very well from what we can see. They're not playing too aggressive. They're just, perimeter play, right? Just continue to maintain the perimeter and constantly be, moving around and having eyes, fully 360 around as a 3-man unit, right? Like if you do it right, you should be able to cover all bases and be each other's eyes, essentially. So I like what I'm seeing so far from this squad. But neither squad looking like they want to pull the trigger.
Yeah, just knowing that there's a team there and you have to play this one because you can just expect the fact that this is going to be an interesting factor of, what's going to happen here. But because of the fact, now all of a sudden you see it, they slow down a little bit. It sounds like there's some fire coming their way. I would imagine from, those buildings right there. They do get a live ping. This is going to be exactly what we saw this other team start to split up.
Yeah, they do. And of course, they're going to pay the consequences and gets immediately of just downed and out. There is no chance, no shot, if you will, for him. And now it is just all up to official Gumpy 14, excuse me. Let me get his name correct. Say the name right. Will he, though, go for this contract?
A good idea. Oh, maybe this team's distracted enough now.
Yeah, third party. It's happening.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Flizzle and friends looking kind of worse for wears here. Ooh. And wow, just like that, they all got down. Though I did see 2 of them did have gulags, so they're not hopeless just yet. They still have a chance. Still relatively early. Gulag still very much open, so they're okay. But that still is a big hit to their advantage. Losing all those perks, losing their loadouts. It's gonna be rough.
Cool.
Meanwhile,
Gumpy
on the other
fire.
end, yeah, Gumpy just trying to get out of dodge. In a dodge, maybe. No, I don't think that Dodge has a model that looks like this. I just wanted to go for the pun.
Look more like a G-Wagon.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're taking a G-Wagon off-roading, but...
True.
Hey, you do you. I like this play, though. Being able to get out of there. You get the revive. You get yourself in a position where you're going to be okay. Cost efficient. You pick up a supply run. You just got to find a buy station as to where you got to go to get the next teammate back. But... as soon as Aaron's back, he's under fire. He's lost his armor down to half health.
Stadium already dangerous, and it makes sense. This is typically a hot zone, and I know that the lobby's a lot smaller, so you shouldn't expect to see too much contact. Ooh. But wow, without even a moment's notice, 2 members of the opposing squad just enclose on. I didn't see who that was, or I forgot already who it was. It wasn't Aaron, it was the other one. But Gumpy. There we go. Thank you. Just unfortunate. And we did just get also a word from production that the last teammate was finaled as well. So that's it for Gumpy and his squad there. That will be the end of their road, as we still have so much more chaos happening at Stadium. Yep. Grenades flying everywhere, and 2 downed members here. One very, very close, going to be able to get that one up, and then I think the other one was a self-res.
Yeah, being able to get that, and unfortunate you have to use the self-res out of that, but you're still in a position now where you're going to be at least a little bit better off taking control of this. I think probably not the idea is, well, the play's not to go on top of Stadium, because it's just far too open. You have no chance at all to be able to cover yourself. You have to stay down towards ground level. The tents off to the right, we saw the same thing in game number 1. There's really not a lot of cover. I think playing around this warehouse is going to be the better play. As you see, these 3 right here, Flizzle and company, all of them went to the gulag, and nobody else decided to join them. So they're like, all right, well, let's just go get a fresh start, clean slate, new loadouts, let's go.
Yeah, already has one in hand, and it's just got to be feeling nice. Got a quick, clean reset, and while I'm sure it's not quite perfect, because obviously you're not going to have your second set of perks, and you might still need some more plating and what have you.
Crossfire.
there's still plenty of time. But now as we get into a firefight here, oh my goodness, just gets lasered. No time to pull out that grenade. More crossfires ensuing between squad after squad. And wow, Real Tate's just gonna have to go on the run and Forrest Gump his way out of here.
Yeah.
Because that just looked absolutely messy. And he does not want to get caught in the soup.
Yeah, now you get the buyback, for everybody. The revive coming through as well. Peekaboo, hello.
Oh, wow. Speaking of Peekaboo, just pops his head out of the door and gets his head popped clean off. As now, take a look back to Flizzle, and Flizzle's team, again, also not looking very good. You've got already Waves, Colleen off the board. Gonna need the redeploy, and then F4. While it's seemingly, he looks like he's okay. I'm assuming, okay, he does have a loadout. I was gonna say, based on his, plate situation, I just assumed he probably wasn't fully looted. And you can tell even by their play style, these guys are playing very safe now. They're proning. They don't want to push up quite yet because they recognize that they're in a pretty big disadvantage right now with a lot of squads nearby.
Yeah, somewhere in here there's a recon drone that just spotted him out, and I like, because you have one of two places to go. You have these walls to play around at Stadium, or the warehouses over there. And you see, Taze is the one with this recon drone that's up high, scanning everything. Everybody's got Ghost and Cold-Blooded, so you're not going to be able to see any thermals, but you're going to be able to see at least motion. And as this does continue to pull over a little bit towards Village, you have a little bit more of buildings to play around, as you see already posted up inside of it, but even still, it's not a lot. I mean, there's one, the corner of this building might be in, the building that he's staring at is going to be in as well. But that's all you have to work with, outside of those tents and the warehouse. It's about to get real messy.
Yeah, Circle is getting super small. Gas is now starting to encroach, and you are going to be in a very precarious situation if you don't have a building or some sort of cover. Next to you, contact now being had from behind, very close to the gas, does go down. Will it be enough here as Real Taze and Minato are trying to stay on the edge of this gas, but don't have eyes where they need it to be? And now it's gonna be Minato falling, and all up to Real Taze as he ducks behind some cover and plates back up.
Yep, MAC-10 in hand is going to be very useful here. You have a lot of ammo. You have an extended magazine for it. That Car 98 at this point is about sending a message more than anything else. You're not going to see a lot of practicality for it. But with the clutches coming in, you don't have the money to buy your teammates back, whether you want to ping that or not. But you know where the players are because of this. Maybe you're going to get a shot, but clusters, airstrikes, everything's hitting right now. And this is exactly what we saw in the first game. Just fingers crossed, the other teams fight each other before they fight you.
Yeah, that's what I would do too. I think that's the strategy, right? There's 2 other squads remaining, right? There's
1v3v2.
Yeah, and so you've got to just play the patient game. You gotta be the third party in this situation, and if you've got a good enough shot, or maybe you just pull out the Car 98 and pepper them a little bit, and then move in with your SMG and rip them into Swiss cheese for the victory, right? Like, I mean, why not?
Yeah, the only thing that I'd be concerned about right now is if, I'm clipping through the back of this tent. He's very lucky that half of this is going to be in his position. This is a 2000 IQ play, because this circle is going to start moving very quickly. You're going to start coughing a little bit. You have to stay on the
he did it
front end of this.
prematurely.
But, you get half a second. Now you're back in. A half a tick of damage. The other team's fighting now. This is the right play.
It was definitely the right play, just a little premature, but it's okay. It still works out. Gets a down with the car, gets a second one, and it's gonna be the victory, no less. With the big brain play to win the game, Caribou. Well done to end out our week 5 here of our AVGL Legion Champions League.
Real Taze is the real deal. That was the only right play that you had, was to stop where you were, survive. As soon as your teammate drops right in front of you, you made eye contact, watch your teammate die. Well, I'm probably not in a good spot. You just got to sit there, wait it out. Shout out to the reactive camo. That's also, I love that camo. It's so good.
Yeah.
But being able to sit there, wait for the teammates to, the other team to rotate out of the building. So they have to leave village. They have to go somewhere. And you expect the other team is going to be in that warehouse, which was the only other location you could fight around that wasn't stadium until it started to pull that way. So you imagine their warehouse, the other team's village. I'm just going to sit right here and be happy. I'm going to stay in this tent. The circle pulled just far enough. And maybe a second too early on the rotation into the gas play, but you have to make that gas play. You have to be the first one there to use that wall. That's exactly what Taze did. Played it perfectly, waited for the shot. Car 98 was about sending a message, and message received. Double kill, double win.
Yeah, and I hope they have the red receipts turned on, because they were not even looking in the right direction. This man able to pick heads off, making it look so easy for the victory. We actually have a replay ready for you right now to watch that beautiful last second play. As you can see here, we'll break it down for you. Makes that 2000 IQ to get into the gas early, to be ready for the shift, and then now sets up with the car 98, sees the ensuing battle, and just bap. One head, two heads, and that's it. That's lights out Warzone victory. And I have to give credit where credit's due, is that we were kind of, like you said, with the omnipotence and the awareness, that bird's eye view. We obviously can formulate all these big brain plays and strategies, because we are in a much more different situation than a player who's in the game and has to think of these decisions in real time and pull the trigger when it matters. And we had discussed it in the moment that it was slightly premature, but thankfully it didn't actually matter. He makes the right call, gets the dub, and those were the kind of plays that I was hoping to see this week to kind of help propel him and his team to the promised land and into the finals. Did he do it? I'm not sure, but was it at the very least a valiant attempt, no less? And will he forever be enshrined in my mind for such a pog play? 100%.
I'll tell you what, it looked good, and that's all that matters, because at the end of the day, you walk away with the victory, and it just hey, everyone on stream just saw that, highlight that, put it in my reel, and we're good to go from there. Because look, I can perform under pressure. I can be, and you look at where the scene is right now. Aiden just got signed to the Subliners. You got Tommy for the 100 Thieves. We're getting there now. These content creators are going on these esports teams, and I'm gonna tell you, that clip right there better be in his reel when he sends his application in.
I would imagine so. Well, we are going to take a short break here, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with an interview with our MVP of the day in just a few moments.
In 2020, we interrupted your regularly scheduled programming to bring you $250,000 worth of scholarships through Intel Inspires. Now, in 2021, we are the regularly scheduled programming. We are proud to announce the new AVGL high school program, backed by a myriad of colleges, influencers, and esports professionals. Up to $400,000 worth of scholarships, paid esports internships, content creator camps, and 50+ exclusive tournaments and events. We know the ropes, and after the experience granted to us through Intel Inspires, we're no longer tying knots, we're tying bows. Because esports isn't about skill, it's not about age, it's not even about experience, it's about attitude. And we at the AVGL are dedicated to bringing that attitude from the vault of the esports corporations and into your classroom. If there's one thing we've learned from a year at the forefront of collegiate esports, it's that professional gaming doesn't start with us. It starts with you.
Welcome back one more holiday time to the AVGL Collegiate Champions League. Caribou brought to you by The Liar. JJ, next to me. You don't have an interview.
Yeah.
You lied to me.
Yeah.
You lied to everybody, honestly.
You know, hey, listen, I wanted to bring you the interview. I was ready. I was hyped, especially after such a big play like that one. I thought we were going to get him in the booth and it was going to be great. But unfortunately, the boys tonight are a little camera shy. So no interview for you folks. But fear not. Be sure to check out on the website the updated leaderboard, as we will be able to then update that for you as soon as we have all the points tallied up and then get you your finalists. But in the meantime, let's take one more opportunity to thank Esport Certified, who helped bring this all together. Again, your one-stop gaming gear destination for exclusively college and university students. They've got all of your gaming gear and peripheral needs. I'm talking your headsets, your mice, your keyboard, your mouse pads, everything you absolutely need to get your gamer on. And so what are you waiting for? Head on over. They've got all of the best brands that you know and love. Your Razer, your SteelSeries, your HyperX, all at an epic discount. So head on over to esportcertified.com to check it out.
And at the very least, at least go window shopping. You know, it's tax season, right? Your tax returns are coming.
That's Stimmy money.
It's about that time. Hey, yo, you know those checks. Yeah, they're coming. So now's a good. You need the upgrades. Now's the time. Yeah, awesome to have a wonderful sponsor. You know, an AVGL teaming up with the Scholastic. You know, they do a phenomenal job with everything to help support Scholastic esports and competitions. Last day of the qualifiers. We got one more time coming back next week for the finals. $3,000 on the line. Looking at the leaderboard, and accuracy, as you said, to be determined. You can go to avgl.org to know for sure. But a lot of the similar teams that are still up there, University of Oklahoma starting to break up towards the top. And I told him last week in the interview, they know whose house they're in. And then Kansas basketball beat Oklahoma. So
March
their
Madness.
Warzone team need to step it up.
Yeah, no, I respect it. I am, you know, a little bit. I'm a college basketball fan too. Yeah, I'm excited to see who's going to end up being in our final when the time comes. So like Caribou said, stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, that does it for us here tonight. It has been an absolute pleasure commentating with you as always, Caribou. I had a blast. I hope you did too. Any last messages before we send them on their way?
You know where to find us. Confused Caribou, JJ Cast, follow AVGL Official, all the social plugs.
You know it. Well, that does it again. Thank you to the broadcast team, the entire production crew, and once again to AVGL and Esports Certified. We'll see you back here next week for the final. But until then, have a great night. We'll see you next time.